To install the 45mm full metal fenders on your bike, you will need pliers, 7 and 8mm box wrenches, and two 2.5, 3, and 4mm Allen wrenches. Apply the cross-shaped anti-rattle stickers to the front and rear fenders. Make sure the fender surface is clean before applying them. Attach the fender stays to the front and rear fenders using the stay brackets and 3mm hex bolts with rounded heads. Make sure the fender stays are perpendicular to the fenders before tightening. Remove the wheels from your bike. Use the longer 4mm bolt, 2 large washers, and an 8mm nut to bolt the front fender to the fork crown. Do not fully tighten the bolt yet, as you may have to reposition the fender once the wheel is back on. For fork crowns without a hole, remove the front bracket with a 2.5mm wrench and 7mm box wrench. Thread 2 zip ties through the slits on the front fender and over both sides of the fork crown. Tighten the zip ties and cut off the excess. Attach the safety tabs to the eyelets with the 4mm Allen bolts and lock washers. You may want to hold onto the safety tabs to prevent them from rotating. Make sure the bolts are tight, but there is no need to crank them down with all of your strength. With a 2mm Allen wrench, loosen the 2mm bolts on the safety tabs enough so that they can be adjusted up and down on the stays. Adjust the fender so it is a safe distance away from the tire and then tighten the 2mm bolts. The more clearance you have between your tire and the fender, the less likely debris will get caught between the fender and the tire and cause rubbing. Spin the tire to check for rubbing and adjust as necessary. Now we can move on to the rear fender. Bolt the rear bracket to the seat stay bridge with the shorter 4mm bolt, 8mm nut, and washers. Slide the rear fender through the rear bracket until the hole on the front end of the fender lines up with the chainstay bridge or chainstays. With a pencil, mark where the rear bracket hits the fender. Slide the rear fender back and attach the rectangular anti-rattle sticker to the area that will be under the rear bracket. If your bike has a chainstay bridge, use one zip tie to affix the rear fender to the chainstay bridge. If your bike has no chainstay bridge, use 2 zip ties to affix the fender to the chainstays. If you're really lucky, your bike has a threaded hole you can directly bolt the fender to. Crimp rear bracket tabs under the rear fender with pliers. Make sure all 4 tabs are crimped flat against the underside of the fender. Now simply do all of the things you did to attach the front fender, remembering to double check that all of the hardware is snug.